currently nobody's on, so let's make sure that this is actually now working on here. Why is it doing like that then? So first of all, let's turn that on. So even though I've it up on here, it's not actually gone on over here, so we'll just quickly change all the details while we wait to see if anybody joins us. If they don't, I'll just do it almost like a normal video. So, call it end of season live Q and A. Right, so we'll call it end of season live Q&A, and we already have 2 people that have popped on, so feel free to share. Look at internet on here. Look at internet on here.
Told you internet's rubbish.
Am I back? We're back in the room? Right, well, not back in the room here, according to this. There's no internet on the computer, that's why. I'm trying to do it via their internet. It does say there's somebody watching, and it does appear that I'm live again, even though I think the quality may be quite bad. Hopefully it'll improve. If not, we may have to bin this idea off completely. But I thought, in fact, my original plan was yesterday we had what was known as Storm Claudia, and I was going to have a little wander around and actually show you what the park looked like. However, I did realise that the internet's not particularly great, and it's looking like it's still. So I figured I'll do it just from my caravan hooked up to the internet in the caravan, but it might be that the internet in the caravan is too bad as well. I mean, it is showing that I am live and there's 2 people watching. So if you're watching and you can actually see this and it's working, do me a little favour, either hit one of the emoji things or say hello. Right, there's 8 people on and somebody has. So it is working from your point of view. So like I say, I was going to do a little walk around the park and show you what the park looked like after Storm Claudia. However, the internet's that bad you can't. But put it this way, I've had to get my wellies out of the shed, and I figured we'd do a bit of a live Q&A while I'm doing this live stream. It's up to you if you want to ask any questions, but it'll keep the Q&A going a bit. But I'll also tell you a few little things what is going on. So if you remember last week I did a video about Park Dean versus Haven. And now Haven are offering bring-ons and how they're going to do it for free. Well, Park Dean have hit back already. But when I say they've hit back, it's not all over. They've actually hit back on our park, this park, Sunnydale. And the deal they're offering is they're offering to move people from 50 miles away for free. So in other words, if you're at a Haven site in Mablethorpe or the one in Cleethorpes, you could move to our site absolutely free. Now, I imagine if it's any further afield, you're going to have to pay. Because when they say it's free, there'll be like a set limit. So they'll have worked out roughly what it costs. And if it's more money than that, or you've got, like, say, a wide caravan, you'll probably have to pay a substantial amount more. Likewise, you'll probably have to pay for your decking as well to be moved. But the savings you could get would be immense, because the pitch fees on our site start at $2,995, whereas the pitch fees on like many of the Haven sites, particularly the one in Mablethorpe and Cleethorpes, you're looking at the start at about £5,000-6,000. So you're saving half of your money straight away. Now I've no idea what the quality is looking like because I'm trying to get my PC to connect to the internet so that I can see myself on here, and then if any questions pop up, I can also answer them. And I can see that there's 19 of you that are actually watching me, but that figure seems to keep jumping from 19 to 5. So I'm guessing that I'm losing connection. Now, most of you, I know, will probably watch this on their TV. But if you are watching on your phone, you can ask questions. In fact, here we are. I can see them now popping up. So the internet's up. So we've got Mark Richardson saying, "Good afternoon, Shane. Good to see you live. Love the videos you do." You could have done with apostrophe there. That kind of threw me off. But yeah, thank you, mate. I will continue doing these videos wherever people are enjoying them. Adam says yo, followed by hi, then hi again. So yeah, hi to you. Lily Mae Betty, they said hi. We've got Mega Bivetta, Bivet. They've also said hi. Someone said I look like a hairy biker. Now, this is what I didn't anticipate. Look, I'm wrong way around, aren't I? Now on my screen, I'm coming through and I'm horizontal. On the screen on my TV, I'm not. So let's fix that. Let's turn this way around. How's that? Is this better? Are we looking better now? The signal, yeah, the signal is bad. I can see it's bad, right? But hopefully you can hear me. If it don't work out, then I may do live from when I'm home over the winter. Is that some of you might be interested in me doing? If it is, just let me know either in the comments or smash an emoji like a like or a heart button, one of them things. And like I said, if has anyone got actually any questions, also put them into the chat box and I will answer them as soon as I can. I'm just trying to bring it back up again so I can actually see. So yeah, somebody's put that's better now I've turned it around. Yeah, it is better, isn't it? I didn't realise. You see, I wanted to film it that way around rather than it being a shorts live, but I guess maybe it's because it's on the phone. So Mark's asked, when does the site close? So our site closes at the end of November. Now I don't know if that means, we always presume it means the last weekend in November, but it might actually mean the last day. The last day. The last day of November is when our site closes. We're going to be closing up today. Not today, this weekend. So we're down here for our last weekend. And basically, like I said, I had this idea that I'm going to walk around and give you a little bit of a tour because there's no tourists on it. Because I always think if I walk around, I'm always a bit cautious about videoing. I don't want a video where there's like kids running about because it just looks creepy, doesn't it? But I thought it might be nice to do a tour live today while there's hardly anybody in the park. There's just a few old boys walking the dogs about, right? But the signal is that bad, I don't think I can do that. So that's why we're doing this live here. And the plan is we're going to do this, and then in a bit I'm going to jump in the shower, have a shower, and then we're going to go down to the club, have a few pints. I don't know if we're going to go down for an early opening at say 4 or 5 o'clock and come back and have a late tea, or whether we'll have a tea and just go down for a couple of hours. And then tomorrow we're going to clean up and we're going to shut everything down, which, other than giving the caravan a really good clean, there's not an awful lot that I think we need to do. We tend to move, like in Riley's son's bedroom, we'll tend to move the mattress away from the side wall. We'll put the bedding in bags and we'll put it underneath the. We've got an ottoman bed, so we'll put it under there. Um, Cheers, Mark. You've said that it's coming through perfect. It doesn't look too bad, I suppose, on the screen. So, quick question to the 7 people that are currently watching right now. And if you've got the chat thing open, let me know. Where are you all watching from? Where in the country are you? And how has this storm been for you? I mean, we were originally planning on coming last night and having the full weekend of it. But then we saw the weather report and we didn't want to drive in it. In fact, I was talking to one of the owners and they said it was a terrible drive, absolutely horrendous drive. And to the point where, as they were going around roundabouts, they were having to wind the windows down to be able to see what were coming, and it was just grim all the way here. And then to make matters worse, last night, I think it must have been about 10 o'clock at night, one of the owners, a guy called Gary, he announced it on an owners group that the electricity had gone on site. And it wasn't just our site, it was the entire village, and I think it was further afield as well, because not only had the electricity gone, but there was no signals on phones either. And that didn't get sorted out till 1 o'clock in the morning. If you wonder what that sound is, that's the dog having a drink. So, Lorraine Clayton is from Manchester. Hi, Lorraine. Michael, I think that says, is from Croydon. Hi, Croydon. Kevin down in Southampton. Mark said, what will we do about the videos over winter? Oh, it's just kicked into an advert. So, what will we do over winter? I don't know, Mark. If I'm honest, I have got a couple more that I need to edit and release because I did when I went down to Heacham the other week. That was a right drive, cost me £60. Ended up with a flat tire. But I filmed 4 videos while I was down there, and I think I've only released 2. I just simply haven't had time with work. Work's been busy at the minute, so I've been busy with that. So yeah, sure. I've got 2 more in the bank, so I might spread them out a little bit and either release one in 2 weeks and then another one 2 weeks later, or I may use my day off to maybe travel to a park that's open throughout the winter and maybe film. Now I did talk to what was his name? A chap called Callum. Now Callum let me go film beginning of season up in Cleethorpes, and he was working as a salesman down in what's that place called? Tattersall Lakes. So I think that's about an hour 20 drive from my house. So if they're open over winter, I may go and spend a day there. If I don't spend a day there, maybe I'll look at renting either a caravan or a log cabin somewhere and having a little mini break myself and doing that. So yeah, so that's the plan. Although if I'm honest, owning a caravan, it can get quite expensive because every weekend you're driving down here, so you're using more fuel than you normally would. And then if you end up going to the club and getting involved in that sort of thing, you do spend quite a lot of money while you're here. So the plan was to actually try and work hard over winter and try and bank some cash ready for the new season. So we've got a little bit of bit of fat there, so we're not skinning ourselves. So whether or not we'll get out and about to other parks is debatable as yet. Curious, of the 12 people watching, who owns a caravan? So Mark Richardson knows Jess apparently. Do you know Jess? Chap who's watching knows Jess? He's a good laddie, Jess. You may have seen um, one of the videos I did for where I did a decking, show the decking being improved. That was Jess's van. Now the original video even included Jess because I thought it was rather funny that the man can talk. I mean, you think I can talk? That guy can talk. His jaw never stops moving. He will literally chew your ears off. However, the minute I pointed a camera at him to ask him about his decking and why he wanted a decking extension, just froze. He just froze. He did not know what to say. And I thought it was funny, and I did actually leave that in. I left it in the video. I showed it to him, and I said, "Look, do you want me to leave it in, or shall I take it out?" So we've jumped up right now. We've got 37 people live with us, right? So if you're just joining in, let me know who you are, where you're from, and if you've got a caravan. Now Brian's got a Carnaby Bayview. Quality caravan, that isn't it, Brian? I've got to admit that I think we've got the Bayview down at the front. There's some for sale out there. Which one is the Bayview? Did I do a video with that recently? Either way, a Carnaby caravan is a top quality caravan. There's a premium feel about Carnabys. I really do like them. A friend of mine had a. Have you heard the weather out there? It's lashing it down again. But anyway, a friend of mine, he had a Carnaby. Beautiful it was. But he's sold up now because he's gone to go live and work out in Germany. So what we've got here, Michael, I'm going to shortly look at a lodge down in Devon and Cornwall in the week. Good for you, Michael. You're going to have deep pockets to be buying a lodge down in Devon and Cornwall. Very deep pockets. Not only will it be expensive, but the pitch fees down Devon Cornwall will be huge. I mean, I'll be amazed if you can get a lodge with cheaper pitch fees than £6,000 a year. I'd be surprised if you get it for less than 10,000. I think 10,000 would probably be what pitch fees for a lodge down there is. Can I ask you, Michael, have you already looked at what the pitch fees for Devon and Cornwall will be for a lodge? If you have, let me know. You've worked it out. So what is it, Michael? Don't keep me in suspense. How much is it? And you're right, Mark. Jess was laid in that lodge on the bed. He didn't speak though, did he? You notice he didn't speak. He didn't want to speak, but he did even have this idea that I thought could be quite fun. That when I'm filming in a caravan, say like I'm wearing a normal shirt, right, and then I open a wardrobe and he just passes me out an Hawaiian shirt, and then the quick transition into that. Sure, Michael says around £6,000. Right, honestly, if that's what it is, that's good, right? I think I'd pay £6,000 to be down in Devon and Cornwall. The only reason I wouldn't do it, if I'm honest, is because it's a hell of a long drive for me. I've never drove down there, but you'd be looking at least 3.5, 4 hours, I think, would you?
More.
5?
Yeah.
5 hours? I'm not driving down 5 hours for a weekend. That's insane, isn't it? The reason we picked here is basically from our house, I drew a circle of between an hour and a half and 2 hours. 2 hours were going to be the max, and I wanted a journey that was going to be nice and easy and steady away. I didn't want to risk a journey where you're stuck in traffic for hours. So that was part of the reason why this area flagged up. And in all honesty, it was just a case I'd seen the caravan that I wanted, and then I came and looked at the park, and I thought, you know what, that ticks the boxes for me. It's nice, it's quiet, right? The last thing I wanted to be is in somewhere like Skeg Vegas with thousands of people around me, going into a club where nobody knows your name and you can't even get to the bar, right? And then likewise, it'd be just mental on beach. Now here, our beach, if you want to get to the beach, you've got to cross a marsh, which is 20 minutes of walking, or you've got to go around it onto dunes and do it that way. And then you're onto golden sand, and there's never anybody there. So it's kind of like walking along an alien landscape. It's truly beautiful, perfect place for walking the dog. So what we got here? So Brian, yes, I did a compare video not long ago. I thought it was that one, and if you remember in that compare video, I said I preferred the Carnaby over the Swift, which is quite something because I really do like Swift caravans. But in that case, for the money, I felt like that was a better deal. Nice. So Michael's saying that he is retired, so he will be staying there all year round, and that makes perfect sense. If you're retired and you can stay there for a long time, then it's worth doing. Maybe when I retire, maybe I'll have a look at Devon myself, eh? Get a lodge next to you, eh, Michael? We've got Paul and Wendy from Derbyshire. Hi, Paul and Wendy from Derbyshire. Are you caravan owners, or are you thinking about getting a caravan? And then we've got Lorraine Clayton looking at the new Willoughby Brookhorse, 58,000, and the Willoughby Malton at 49 in Camforth. Right, I don't think there's much between the Willoughby Brookhorse, Brookwood, sorry, or the Malton. They're very similar. They've got the same sort of chassis. The thing is the Brookwood is the newer model. It's 2 or 3 years. It's 2 or 3 years younger. As in, like, it literally is this year's model. The Malton it was made, I think, in 2022. Maybe, yeah, 2022, I think the first one I saw was. It's a nice caravan. Um, it's got freestanding furniture in there. It's got a very similar design to the Grasmere. Both caravans are quality. I noticed that you put the price there. There's 10 grand between them. That's harsh. I'm not sure what I'd do. Could I justify that extra 10 grand for the Brookwood? I'm not sure I could. I think for this it'll come down to the design element of which one you prefer, and just a toss up of the money. But they're both Willoughby, they're both of a similar spec, and they're both of similar quality. You can't go wrong with either because they are solid, nice caravans. It is purely down, I think, to the aesthetics. It's also worth looking into, depending what park it is, how long you can keep it there. Because I have heard some parks only give you a 15-year lease, whereas Part D now do 22. So we've got Paul Elliott. He's a proud owner of a static in Scarborough. Well done, Paul. What caravan is it? It's a Carnaby Glenmore Lodge. So it's not a static, is it? It's a lodge. So you've got a nice big lodge. I've never been in a Carnaby lodge, I don't think. Have I? I'm just trying to think if I'm telling a lie there. No, I'm thinking of that Carnaby that were like with log burning. That wasn't a lodge, was it? That was a caravan. So no, I've never actually been in the Carnaby lodge, but Carnaby is a really good quality, I think, and I think they put a lot into the design of the caravans. So I think that that'll do. I imagine it's stunning, right? I'd like to have a look at one of them. So Brian's pointed out that travel time for him is between an hour 45 and 2 hours, depending on the M25. You see, the good thing of where we are, we don't need to come on the motorway, and because you're cutting straight across land that way, it feels like there's hardly any traffic. The worst thing we can get is sometimes between sort of Gainsborough and Market Raisin, you sometimes might get some, all Alf that is, you can sometimes get a few tractors on the road that might get in your way. But other than that, it's pretty much bob on. out of curiosity, those that have got caravans, what kind of site? What site are you on? Are you on Park Dean, Haven, or a private site? I'm waiting for the comments to come in now. I'm expecting like a big debate about who's where and what's better. So we've got 15 of you watching at the minute. Oh, jump. Mad that, isn't it? Look, a minute ago it was 15, now it's just jumped up to 21. And my cup of tea's gone. So you may have missed an all, Harry, that at the beginning of the, you call it a show, or at the beginning of the live, right? I mentioned that about the whole thing about Park Dean versus Haven, and how Haven are offering bring-ons now. Well, Park Dean have hit back, and they're accepting bring-ons, but not all over the country. But they are specifically offering them on our site, right? And I think the reason they're doing that is there's roughly 80 empty pitches. Now, you think of it like this: if there's 80 empty pitches, and pardon me, and each pitch starts from £2,995, that is a serious amount of money to be losing. And they're probably not going to fill 80 pitches up in one season. They probably average about 30 sales a season normally, unless you've got either a really good salesman and you might get 40, 50 sales, or if you've got really bad sales team, you might get 10. Right now, my dog is looking at me, wanting to get up on the sofa. I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, Harry, not without knocking camera over. I don't know how we'll do it. Right, let's move the cushions. Let's just move the computer. Let me move up a bit. Come on then. Right, okay. So, we've got Harry's ass in his way now. Right, so he's settling down. So that's all good. Let's all just turn the camera around so you can see him. There's Harry, my dog, who I'm often out walking, and he doesn't like that. He says, "You're not taking a photo of me, Dad." Not taking... Oh, in fact, he's just pushing me out of the way now and getting behind me. Right. Thanks, Harry. Thank you. Look, see, he's pushed me out of the way. Does this to me all the time. So let's come back and find out what's going on. Right, so back to some of the comments. So we've got Mark is an owner of a Willoughby Manor. On my fourth static on a private caravan site. Curious, Mark, what are your pitch fees on a private caravan site, and how long can you keep your caravan on there for? Lorraine, the Brookwood is on a 10-month site, no age limit. Cheaper site fees, the Malton is 12-month site with a 15-year age limit. That, to be honest, that makes a big difference in the question you were asking, because not only are you comparing caravans now, you're comparing a site. And I've got to admit, I'd be reluctant to be on a site where you've only got a 15-year age limit, because, you know, ultimately, yes, you get a brand new van, but you're out after 15 years. 20, 22 years, I think that's all right. But then it's a 12-month site as well. So, you know, you could potentially sneakily live there, couldn't you? It's probably a holiday park, but, you know, you could probably get away with being a bit sly there and spending more time there than you are at home. So Brian is on a Park Dean site and happy with where we are. You know what? Park Dean get a lot of shit, don't they? You know, you go onto these Park Dean owners groups and they call them Shark Dean. But on a whole, you know, we're on a Park Dean site. We're happy. We've had a reasonably good experience. I've never had any issues. I think the problem is the people that have issues, maybe, I don't know, maybe they find issues, do you know what I mean? Or maybe it's down to the management of that particular park, or I guess, you know, you might have a run-in with certain members, but on a whole, we've been happy on this park. And like I say, it's a Park Dean site. And now we've got a new manager on site, a lady called Kim, She's she's lovely. I've had more conversations with Kim than the previous manager. That was the manager for 4 years. And Kim's only been here since August, and I've had more conversations with her since August than I have with the previous manager. I've even mentioned the channel to her, and she says, as long as you're not slagging us off, do what you want. So that's good. And yeah, I don't think Part Dean is as bad as people make it out. And I think it's always going to be the same. When you've got big corporations, you're going to get people that have good experience and you're going to have people that have bad experience. And it's the people that have the bad experience that tend to shout the loudest. Right, so what we else got going on here? We've got Martin. Shane, hi Shane, 2 hours to Anglesey from home. No big brand sites, they're just small chains. Yeah, and again, these small chains, I think they work quite well. Um, Now you might have seen that I went down to one not long ago. A sales guy played a bit of golf with sales manager, both rubbish at it. Although the annoying thing about that day, I created what I call the double tap. My wife's supposed to be filming, and I don't think she got this, but it looked wicked because I don't play golf. Right? I've never played golf. I've been on a driving range. That was my second time ever. So I cracked the ball, hit it, and it shot straight up. It hit the roof of the driving range, came back down, and as it came down, I swung the bat like a baseball bat. It's not a bat, is it? What's it called? Club. So I swung the club like a baseball bat, hit it, and it went miles. And I turned around, and we call that the double tap. And yet, she didn't get it on camera. That was so cool, and she didn't get it on camera. Anyway, so back to what I was saying about Dave, the sales manager. He's from, I think they call it Coursefields, and there's 5 in that chain. And he'd invited us down to look at the lodges. Previously, these lodges had been used as rentals for people who go there to play golf, and now they were looking at selling them so they become owners only. And they were doing something unusual, and they've not launched it yet. And I could do with probably getting back in touch with Dave. So, Dave, if you're watching, let me know what actually happened with this. But they were doing on about splitting ownership, almost like timeshare, so that rather than you having to fork out 120 grand, you might just fork out 30 grand and have like a quarter of it. But I don't know how that'd work out, me. I don't know if that'd really work. I don't think it'd work for me because I'd want to leave my personal possessions in. And if I'd been there for a week and the guy who had it the week before me was a scruff bag and left the place a mess, I won't be happy. So I'm not quite sure how that'd work. Sure, 3 grand, no age limit. So that's what Mark says about it being on a private site. So yeah, so 3 grand pitch fee and no age limit. That's really good. To be honest, there's one round the corner from us, and it's called New Inn, and it's called New Inn site because it's basically a pub called New Inn, and then it's the field behind it, and they're probably bigger than our site, and that's a private site, and they pay about £3,000, and again, there's no age limit. In fact, you walk around our site, and there's like empty pictures everywhere. You walk around the New Inn site, and they've got nothing. They've got no facilities other than that pub, which is it's not a club, it's a pub. Anyone can go in, right? They've got no facilities, but nearly every single pitch is full. And I think the reason it's full is because it's cheap. I don't even think it's 3 grand. I think pitch fees 2,600, and they don't have to pay any rates. Whereas we have to at the end of the year pay rates, and that includes free water and apparently bin collection and I think fire and stuff. And it can be anywhere between 200 and 400 quid. It changes every year, and they don't have to pay that. And there's no age limit. In fact, something that I learned this year, and something that like I may even make a video about, is when caravans get to a certain age on a Part Dean or a Haven site, the sites don't want to buy them because they're too old. Why are they going to buy a caravan that's, say, 16, 17-year-old? and then you sort of kind of stuck. You either sell it on privately to somebody who's happy to come on for a couple of years, or you sell it to a trader. Well, turns out the new in buys caravans off, and at least 3 or 4 people on our site have sold their caravan to new in. One guy, he was 20 years old, might as well be scrapped. He was looking at having to pay to get it removed. They give him £1,000. That's a pretty good deal for a caravan that's pretty much scrap. Another guy who had 3 years left on his caravan, they give him over 12 grand. So, sometimes when you think, actually, you can't get any money for it, you can. So if you're getting to a point where you're thinking, Christ, what am I going to do with my caravan? It's not worth it. Maybe check out some of the private sites around you. See if they'll be interested in buying it. Might just surprise you what you can get for your caravan. You know what, right? I'm talking that much because it's kind of weird that I ain't got anyone talking back at me, that my throat is getting rather dry. So you might just see my wife in the background making a cup of tea in a minute, if she's nice. Or at least getting me a glass of pop, maybe. Hint, hint, hint. Nobody can see you. I'll take camera so they can't see fish. Right, so we've just got a little advert apparently for Call of Duty.
I need to put my phone on charge.
Well, you can't put it on over here. You'll have to leave one in the bedroom. So she's trying to sneak through now like a ninja, trying to avoid the live stream that's happening. Right, so Paul Elliott says he's on Flower of May site. Flower of May. Where's that again, Paul? I think you told me earlier on in the chat, but I have lost that. There's that many conversations going on. And then GC, they've just purchased their first caravan on Cove site, no age limit for tidy vans, and 12-month season. Decking and connection is being done, and I should get my keys in about 7 days. That sounds good. So GC, what caravan have you got and how old is it? That's interesting. I do like the idea of a 12-month season. So those that are on a 12-month season, are they residential sites or are they purely holiday sites like ours is? I would at some point love to come onto a residential site, not to have my caravan there. I'd just like to visit them and get to know how they actually work, and then that way we can maybe do videos about how to live on a caravan site. I mean, I've looked at the idea of one day buying some land maybe and moving my caravan onto it so I can kind of live off grid in a way, but finding land where you can do that is a lot of money. Thank you. This time of day I'm just having pop. I have had a cup of tea though, and I do fancy going to clubbing a bit, so I'm not sure how long this live stream will go for. Has Harry gone to sleep? Well, no, he's popped his head up. He sneezed and he's popped his head up. You settle down now, I only said your name. What he tends to do is he likes to sit outside here and just suck on his sucky. And his suckies tend to be, I don't know what that is. They tend to be old slippers usually. And he sort of gets on them and he just sucks on them until he falls asleep. So Ian, hello from Wolverhampton. How are you? Have you got a caravan? If so, what is it? And where have you got it? And what kind of site is it? I feel like I've lost track of what I was saying before. Did I finish talking about people moving the caravan to the site? I did, didn't I?
Yeah, lovely.
So anyway, yeah, you can move your caravan now to Sunnydale. They're offering to move it for free within a 50-mile radius. I'll probably do a separate video on that because I need to look into it a little bit more. Because all I've seen is a little post on Facebook advertising it. And that doesn't tell you everything, does it? Like, yes, they're saying they'll do it for free. But what about if you've got decking? Because I bet you're going to have to pay for that. And just to have your decking took off your caravan and put back on again, say you're getting a new caravan, the decking company, and it's not Partney or Haven making money on this, but the decking company themselves charge 1,500 quid to move it and put it back again. So I imagine if you're moving your caravan and you've got decking, you've got that to pay for as well, which could be rather expensive. Then also, will you have to pay sighting fees and disconnection fees and things like that? And all these little costs, they do add up. So it's definitely worth looking into. However, if you've got a relatively new caravan, and I don't know, say you've got finance on it, so you can't sell it because you've got too much money laid into it, but all of a sudden you can't afford the £7 pitch fees that Haven up at Cleethorpes charge, then it's worth moving down to a smaller site like this because you're going to save 3-4 grand a year in your pitch fee. Not to mention the difference in interest rate every year. The downside, if you did move here, there's less to do. We've got a clubhouse, we've got a pond where people fish, we've got a swimming pool and a little park. Yes, we're next to the beach, but it's quite a walk to the beach. But if you like the smaller community feel, like the people who are here regular, they tend to know each other. Then it's better, isn't it? It's better. I think it's better. Right, let's have a look back here. So, GC, if that's how you say your name, and that's just your username, obviously, purchased a 2023 Atlas Heritage. With free site fees until April 2027 on a brand new pitch with a large stone drive and piped gas. The fact that you've put site fees, free site fees, I'm going to guess that you're on either a Haven or a Part Dean site. I'm not so sure that some of the smaller sites ever offer you free pitch fees. Could be wrong. Let me know. What site is it? Is it Part Dean? Is it Haven? Is it a private site or a small chain? Ian's put, we haven't, but we enjoyed your walk around the vans. Right, so you haven't bought your caravan, but you're enjoying the videos. That's fantastic. I do intend to do more of them next year. I'm hoping to just plod along basically and just keep growing this channel. Hopefully it'll continue the way it has. I mean, this year there's been some some of these videos have really popped off, haven't they? As an example, the Willoughby Ellerton, that had over 110,000 views, which I thought were really good. Also, the video talking about why you shouldn't buy a caravan, that had 70 odd thousand views. And it's quite funny that because a lot of people agree with me that you shouldn't buy a caravan before they've actually watched all of the video, because if you've watched all the video, you'll see I actually flip it. I called it that purposely because I know there's a lot of people that like to slag caravans off and like to slag off the whole caravanning world, and you shouldn't buy one, and they're a rip-off, and they're this and they're that. And I don't think they are, as long as you know what you're getting into. But I thought I'll start the video off pointing out all the bad things, like why you shouldn't buy one, and then I'll flip it to why you should buy one. And it's been a very, very popular video as that. In fact, even months down the line, it's not always in the top 2 most viewed videos. Flower of May site is in Scarborough. Yeah.
I've been on, one of them.
Yeah, we've talked about that site, haven't we? Yeah. Yeah. My wife's been there. I know we've talked about that site. But I'm going to guess that a lot's changed because it must be 20 years since she went on it. Anyway, So Mark Richardson, he got free site fees when he bought the Willoughby Manor 6 weeks ago on a small family-run site. Well done, Mark. Sounds like you got a really good deal, to be fair. So GC put that it's a cove site. They have a few parks and a little club, no arcade. We've got an arcade. Not that you know. It is only little, keeps the kids and the holiday makers happy. How many of you watching are on sites where there's holiday makers? Like we are. We get, obviously, we get quite a few holiday makers. I'm gonna do a video about renting and all, but I need to speak to more people about this. And the reason being is last week we had our end of season party. It was good. It was a good end of season party. The singer was good. One he was good. You remember the name of the singer?
Or a group, I don't know.
Oh, it was a group.
Can't remember.
In my defence, when I say I didn't remember it was a group, I just thought it was a singer, and he basically brought his two mates along to act as backups because they both looked like they were off their edge and they weren't quite sure what they were doing. But he was a really good singer. Um, we got greeted with, as we walked through the door, with free beer, free tequila roast shots, and free prosecco. In fact, what I was doing is I was sat down at the table. In my right hand, I had my cider, and in my left hand, I had prosecco. And I was alternative drinking. I was going cider, prosecco, cider, prosecco. Now, what that actually resulted in is I got quite hammered. I got very, very, very drunk, and our table won a inflatable hammer for being loudest. I don't know what stupid game how that came about, and I ended up with the inflatable hammer, which actually then resulted in me going around just walloping people around head and battering children. And there's a big guy on site. He's called Chris. I won't be surprised if he watches it now. Chris has got massive hands. He's a big, brute of a guy, and I just ran up and poof. I just smashed it round his head. I'm lucky he didn't turn around and lever me, if I'm honest. Again, I've got distracted talking about the end of season party. Oh yeah, sure. While at that end of season party, I talked to a few people, at least 2 or 3 people that rent their caravans out. Couple via Part Dean, and a couple via a company called Two Seas. Now, all of them said they've hardly made any money this year. And part of the reason being, I think, this is what I think, is one, they've been, Part Dean and Two Seas have been doing crazy offers to try and get people in. But two, they've been running them through multiple companies. So, like, you think on, if your agreement is with, say, Part Dean, and they say, right, if you rent out, we'll rent your caravan out, and we'll take 30%. Then you have to pay a cleaning fee, right? Or it might be in way, I'm not right sure, but I know with Two Keys you have to pay a cleaning fee, right? But then what they do is they then have been advertising through either lastminute.com or Airbnb, sometimes both. Now you imagine they're doing an offer to get someone in for a weekend at £100, but then it gets bought through Airbnb. Airbnb first take their 30% off, so then you drop down to £70, right? Then Part D will take their 30% off, or Two Keys will take their 25 or 30% off. So then that your pot drops even lower, and then you've still got to pay your cleaner, so it's even lower. Then you've got your gas to take into account, and then you've got damages and stuff like that. And before you know it, you might only be making 20-30 quid for that weekend, which means over the course of the year, you're really going to struggle. And you might not even make enough money to cover the cost of your caravan. So, this is something I'm going to try and dive into over winter. I might put it on some Facebook groups and see if anybody's willing to have a little chat with me so I could try and get the figures Because once I get the figures off a few people and a few sites, I can put together a video that talks about it in a little bit more detail. Right. So GC says also included was free front decking. Nice. I also have an added sidewalk for £3 extra. Also a doggy play area. Oh, I like that. Doggy play area. Can't wait to get the keys and already have decided to spend Christmas and Hogmanay on the park. In Hogmanay just part of Christmas? No, is that different?
No, Hogmanay is New Year.
Oh, is it? Just New Year?
Scottish New Year, Hogmanay.
Why do you have to have different names? I've got to say, GC, whatever your real name is, that sounds lovely. I'd like you to just explain in a little bit more detail what the dog play area is, please, because that sounds right good. And when you say it's a dog play area, do you mean it's like a field on your site that they can play, or have you got a separate bit outside of your caravan purely for your dog to play on? In other words, is it just a bit of garden? Is that what you mean? Beverly, I will be interested in seeing you doing a walk around different caravan sites in the area next year. I'll try and do more walk arounds, but it gets it's a bit tricky sometimes, isn't it, with filming, because you've got to be aware of other people, and also ideally I need permission. Are you trying to get off? Go on then. So dog's jumping off. What's that? Is my laptop in the way? Is that what you're worried about? My bag's still in your way. How much room do you need? Christ. So when it comes to doing the walkarounds, I did it on our site. I think it was early morning. It was really quiet on site, and I think it was midweek as well. So there were hardly anybody on site, and I was really cautious going in and out. Even the club, once I saw a family, I moved my camera in so that it was nowhere near. So I've got to be a little bit cautious about doing that because I'm not sure what the rules are in this, whether I can just wander around, or whether or not sites had let me. So I know some of the party sites would. Like I'm friends with the sales manager down at Heacham, although I'm reluctant to go there again because it was like nearly a 3-hour drive just from our caravan site. The sales manager over at Southview would probably let me, and I'm hoping they've got a longer season and I might be able to just nip over and do some more caravans there over the winter. Also, you got to think on that it all depends on what the weather's like as well, because I wanted to do a walk around tour today, just to kind of show you what a site looks like after a storm. But then also at the same time, my wife pointed out that the managers probably won't be happy because it looks shit. And the reason it looks shit is because there's quite a lot of flooding, which you expect, don't you? Because there's been a storm, and our site is built on a salt marsh, so it's basically a swamp, if you like. So it don't look particularly nice. And anyway, I decided not to do that purely because as you walk around, I kept losing the signal, like I was losing the signal at the beginning. In fact, I am amazed we're still going strong now. Cheers, Mark. Mark just said, I think your channel will go big because the videos you do are brilliant and you're good at what you do. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Right, very good. GC says it's 12-month site. The play area is a flat enclosed field about a tennis court size with chairs and tables to sit at while your dog plays. Oh, that's good, isn't it? I like that. I like that idea. I mean, they could do that here. We've got a touring field at back of us. We don't really want the tourers here because half the time what we end up getting is the travellers sneaking on site and leaving a load of shit here. Um, although it's not been bad this year. And to be fair, the ones that do come, that tend to come down regular, they're they're all right. They tend to leave the truck here and go off and do work in different places. But that field, which is the touring field, would make a great. You could cut that off easily, and you could have a doggy play area with a couple of benches in, like GC said, and then at the bottom end you could have some other children's activity things like maybe a mini golf or tennis court or some French bowls. Yeah, now we're talking. Because we like to play a bit of French bowls in summer, No finer than having a few beers and throwing a few balls about. Notice that nearly every single hobby on site involves beers. Right, this live stream has been going for nearly an hour. I will keep going if you've got any more questions. So if people have got any more questions, throw them in to the chat box and I will answer them ASAP. If not, I'll be getting a shower and heading down to the club in the next half an hour. Wait, actually, it's not open till 4, is it?
5.
I thought it was 4.
5.
Apparently, it's not open till 5. Sure, we'll be going at 5.
5 till 10.
What is the name of the directions comment? Ah, never mind, that's not to do with this. Marvellous. So I'm kind of running out of things to say. I want to know, what would you like to see more of over winter and then going into next season? Obviously, somebody's mentioned more park tours. Is there anything you'd like? You may have noticed that, like, I basically rehashed some videos. Not rehashed them, I refilmed in 2 caravans that I'd already filmed in. And I did it in a versus mode. Now, those of you who've watched the versus mode, where it were a Swift one versus a Carnaby of a similar price, they want a massive amount in it. Would you like to see more comparing of caravans as well as the single walk-arounds? Let me know. I'm waiting for the comments to come in. Mark says he's just closed for the season. He has, yeah. He closed up last week. He's packed up, and I don't blame him because it's pretty grim. I just wanted to try and get another weekend out of it, but yeah, it's pretty grim now, isn't it? So yeah, it's not nice out there. In fact, I'm gonna have to wear my wellies to go to the clubbing, so I'm gonna be looking full farmer. I might even wear a check shirt and go check shirt. So Brian's put, you're right about the fees, etc. regarding letting out a van. We don't, but this is where people get drawn in by the sales team. You could make this. You could make this. That never happens. Vans get trashed and stuff stolen. Yeah, they do. They get trashed. They get trashed, and every time there's any damage in a van, right, and you call them out for any reason, it's expensive, right? Even right, get this right. This would be stupid. So on my Ninja that I have outside on my decking, that I used to like cook breakfast, I make pizzas on it, I've cooked steak on it, I use it for all kinds of stuff. I plugged an extension into my plug socket. I ran the plug socket outside, right, and I didn't unroll it fully like you should. So the plug got too hot, and it stuck to the plug socket. Now, it's perfectly safe. It can still be used because they've got various things to stop it if there's any damage. I just cannot physically get the plug out of the plug socket. So I mentioned this to maintenance, and they've come and inspected it. And for them to take the plug out, they wanted something stupid like 68 quid. So I've not done it because I know that is quite a simple job. My wife's looking at me now as if to say, if it's such a simple job, Why haven't you got it done, dickhead? The reason I ain't got
Why
it.
has it been there all season?
Why have you been there all season? The 68 quid, I'll get it done. The fact is, the new plug thing would only probably cost a fiver, and it'd probably only take half an hour time. And I hold my hands up. I just haven't been asked because it's not that much of a problem, right? Because I'm still going to need to plug the extension in somewhere, aren't I? So I've just left it. I just refuse to pay it. GC's piped in saying GC is my initials. My name is George. Thanks for your tips and ideas which helped me choose my van. Your knowledge helped me a lot. Thank you, Shane. No problem, George. I'm glad to be of service. I'm glad to help people. I'm really glad it's helped you. But yeah, getting back to how vans can get trashed, you hear it all the time. You hear owners telling, like, people, and the stuff people nick is just so random. Like, people have taken TVs, but then the weirdest thing, sometimes they haven't took TV, but they've took the remote. How annoying is that? To get there, you've got your TV, you're ready to watch it, there's no remote. Why? Right? People take mattress protectors. Why on earth would you take a mattress protector that's been on the bed to protect it from other people? And then they take it. What's wrong with people? I mean, that's a weird thing to take, innit?
I've got loads on 3-4 nicked over this
Three
season.
3 or 4 mattress protectors stolen over the course of this season. It is honestly, the stuff that people take out of caravans is diabolical. But then the damage that they cause is also diabolical. People go in them and they just bounce off the wall, especially kids. And I've heard that people have painted on the walls. You're not getting that off, are you? Painting on the walls, drawing on the walls, dogs, like damaging caravans. Easily done. Dog, if you've got a big running about, I mean, we've got a big dog. Luckily, he's well behaved. Yeah, that's right, Brian. If stuff's stolen, that's the thing, right? Say TV goes, and you're renting out via Part Dean or Haven, and your TV goes missing. Haven, and it's Haven or Part Dean customers that have stolen it. Part Dean or Haven don't go, oh, your TV got nicked, we'll put you a new one in. No. They ring you up and say, somebody's nicked your TV, you better come down here and put a new one in. How's that fair? It's just not, it's not right, is it? It's just not fair. And then all they say, like Brian's mentioned, they'll say, I'll claim on your insurance. Who's going to do that? Right? Because it just pushes your insurance premium up. It's just wrong, isn't it? Absolutely wrong. So yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm a little bit against renting. I wouldn't rent out my caravan purely because I wouldn't want to get it trashed, and I don't think you make that much money. That said, the very reason I bought on a holiday park was in case of if it ever came to it, and I don't know, say I'm out of work and I can't afford to run my caravan and keep my caravan, there's always the potential to rent it to at least cover the costs. But like I say, this year's been a bad year for renters, and not many of them have covered the costs. So before we go, is there anything else anybody would like to ask, or is there any ideas, or you'd like to see more of next season? Let me know now in the comments before we wrap it up. And just to let you know, before you do go, I have got 2 more caravans that I filmed at Heacham. One was a victory caravan. What was the other one? I did it wrong way around at Heacham, right? So what I did is I filmed in best caravan, right? It were an Abbey Ambleside, beautiful caravans, stunning one. It lovely kitchen, lovely living room. It had a decking on that overlooked a river. I'm not going to say it was a nice looking river. Maybe it looked nice in summer. I don't know. It looked a bit manky when I saw it. But you've got it overlooks. You're not just looking at another caravan. There's a river in between, so you're gonna get ducks and nature and stuff. So that's nice, right? But it was a beautiful caravan. The bedroom, in particular, is exquisite, right? And then the next caravan were good. It was a really nice caravan, and normally I'd have gone in there and got really excited about it. But because I'd just been in that one, I wasn't excited at all. I was just like, yeah, this is alright. This is quite nice. It's cool. It's tidy. Looks good. But normally I'd have really liked that. And then the next caravan were a Victory, which I'd been excited about going in that because I'd not been in that particular model. And if I'd have gone in that first at the beginning of the day, I reckon I'd have been blown away. But I was just like, yeah, I'm not that impressed. It's a bit rubbish, really. And then the last caravan I went in was a second-hand one. So it went from the best to the worst. And that is completely the wrong way to do it. That's probably the way that salesmen normally do it. They show you the best first, and then they go down the chain so that you go, well, I want that one. That one that we started with, it was most money. But what I should have done when I'm filming is I should have filmed with the first one. The one that I was going to get excited. Ah! It's saying that chat's disconnected. Unable to connect. Does that mean I've lost everyone on here? What's going on? Oh, it might just be that my computer's gone down. Because that's still saying live. So let's see before we finish. Because I bet there might be a million comments going on. But yeah, so I did it, while I'm trying to connect this, I did it in completely the wrong order. So from now on, like normally when I film, I try and film in 2, maybe 3 caravans at a time. And I wander around and look in a few before I start. Whereas this one, I just went, I was like, I want to see that one because I reckon that that's mint. And then we went from the best to the worst. In future, I feel like I need to start with the worst one and then go to the best. So if I ever visit another park, I'm going to say to them, let's start with worst, so that at least I've got some excitement. Because by the time I've gone all the way down far, I was like, oh yeah, this is naff, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It wasn't the best. And I don't want to do that because that's unfair. Right. I know I'm still live. I know there's people watching. Is there a way I can see the chat on here? I don't know if I can. Because my computer has lost all communication. Top fans. It's telling me top fans. Mark Richardson's in #1 place. Michael's in #2. As if they give you experience points. You know what give you more experience points? As if you hit super chat and said, well done Shane for all the hard work you're doing. Here's your tenner. Go buy a centre pint on me. Right. That's not working. This says we're back online. So let's. Here we go. We're back on. I'm just going to load it back up again, see where we're at. Have we got any questions before we leave? Has anybody left a super chat to buy me a pint? Probably not. Right, so people are saying. Right, so right. Whoa, they've been loaded. No, they haven't been loaded. What's this? One van on our last site got gutted by renters. They took the microwave plates, cups, kitchen, TV, bedding, everything. Wow. So that's going back to what we were just talking about how people can trash the site. And look at that. Somebody's gutted a caravan. It's just appalling, isn't it? Right, so over to what else did we get? So after that, the caravan comparison video was very interesting. It's something I'd love to see more of. Nice one, Paul, because with the comparison side, the problem is I find, and this is probably why we started off at the beginning of the season, boom, 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 2 caravans a week, and then it kind of dried up, sort of like for a couple of reasons. One being the sales manager at our site left, and then I had to get to know a new sales manager, and he didn't wasn't that keen on letting me in perfect. Whereas the old manager used to just bring, oh yeah, this caravan, it's not dressed or anything, it might look shit, but it's keys. Crack on, right? And that's kind of how I like it. I like to just take the keys and go in no matter what they look like. But partly because of that, it's sort of slowed down, but also partly because the caravans on our site, we simply ran out of caravans that I hadn't done, right? Which then it makes it difficult because I have to go to another site. But to go to another site, I've got to organise that, and I've got to try and organise going to another site, and it takes a day up of my time. When when we've got things on as a family or things on with friends or whatever, or like I say, I go to that axe and knife throwing club. So if we're doing that as well, I've got to go down there. So it can be difficult to organise going off site to film. But if we're doing comparison videos, it's a way for me to re-look at the van and do it again. The other thing I thought of doing was more of a deep dive, like some of my videos. Obviously, most of them are 15 to 20 minutes long. I did think it might be good to go in one and do a really deep dive and doing like an hour and really go like where they've got like the pull out beds. Actually, get them out, test them, see how they feel, check the cushion depth, check the bed. Do you know what I mean? Really go around and spend an hour really into it. So if you'd like to see them kind of videos, let me know about that. But yeah, the comparison videos, we will definitely do more of. My wife sat over there yawning her head off, staring at me. I think she's getting bored of me doing this now. But I'm having fun, so she can nap off. I might stay on for an extra half an hour now.
I'm gonna put my
Just,
telly on.
just to wind her up.
I'm gonna
Right.
put my telly on.
So Mark says, take care, Shane. It's been good talking to you. Brian says it's been great. Have a good afternoon, evening over the clubhouse. Mark says can still see you. Paul says really enjoyed this live stream, Shane. So I think to be fair, I think that pretty much wraps it up, doesn't it? So I'm gonna go. You've put up with me for an hour and 15 minutes now of my jaw talking non-stop. This is probably nearly as good as Jess's jaw, I reckon. This is all the training I've had from Jess. It's enabling my jaw to carry on yapping about things to do with caravans. So I'm glad all those people that have joined me for this live stream. I'm really grateful you've joined me. I might do some more. If you want me to do some more again, just drop a comment after this live stream and let me know. But for now, that's it. So goodbye, everyone. I'm going to let the wife have the TV back and I'm going to go grab a shower and then we can get down clubbing a bit. So goodbye, everyone.